Thanks so much for joining us. This is MeWe Fairs for energizing body, mind, heart, and soul. We have events throughout the Northwest, many online. Today is our Online Awakening panel. Today's theme is a theme that we have not discussed in a long time. It's Start and Grow Your Conscious Business. There are 5, or possibly there will be 6 of us on the panel today that will be answering questions from you. We'll be sharing about who we are, what we do, talking a bit about the theme first, and then we'll be available for questions. It is free to be here to listen and learn, and it's a small price to ask questions of the panel. I'll put that information in the chat again right now. It is a small price to ask a question. It is 20 to 28 sliding scale, or $12 for BIPOC folks, as a step of making reparations. We appreciate if you would pay first. Let us know if you paid, we'll get you in line. So let us know in the chat and we'll get you in line. And I'll do a little bit to set the container before we start answering. And excited to be with you and to be talking about this. All right, great. Well, maybe let's have Lisa go again. Let's go in the same order as before. So we'll have Lisa, Dana, Brenda, Christene. If Henry joins us, Henry will fit in here too. And then me. So reminder, everyone, you've got about 2-ish minutes or so. And then please aim to share about all of what you do at first, and we'll talk about the theme after. If part of what you do is like it's so integrated in the theme, go ahead and chat a bit about it now, and then we'll talk about it more when we come back on the second round. And make sure to talk about everything so everyone gets an idea of all the things that you do. All right, great. Lisa, go ahead.
Thank you, Laureli. Hey, Mystics. I'm Lisa Stewart of Co-Create Magic. I call myself a creative mixed medium. I also do work with my angels, ancestors, spirit guides, oracle cards, and divination tools to grow my business. I've always used these tools co-creating with spirit. I'm an intuitive business guide, designer, inventor, and author as well. And as an intuitive business guide, I help mystics set up their businesses, mentoring mystics who are moving from the work world to the woo world so they can embrace and master energy to develop their brand magic. It's my mission to help people find the courage to co-create their magic, leveraging energy and intuition to make insightful decisions, build their creative confidence, and grow their income. So if you're feeling stuck, uninspired, or just want to get started in your business, let's work together to conjure some magic. With over 30 years of business experience, I've designed and built several hundred products over the years, selling them worldwide from my brick and mortar shop as well as online. My work has been featured in movies and major news stations. I've also authored several articles found in industry publications, all co-creating with spirit. And I use this experience to help you get clear on what your business really is, what it takes to get clients, how to create intentional positioning in the marketplace, and market yourself in a feel-good way, all without using psychic mind control. Now, if you want to shift from chasing clients to being chased, or you want to make a full-time income fast and you don't know where to start, I'd like to announce a soft launch of Mystic Maker's business portal. Everything you need to quickly build your personal brand reputation and become the go-to expert. If you feel resistant to marketing and selling yourself, you're not alone. We're not born knowing this stuff. The business portal is for the spirited, courageous, creative entrepreneur who wants support building their business, even if they're not tech savvy. So there's so much that I can teach you inside that portal, and I can go over that later. But I just wanted to kind of give you a brief overview of who I am and what I can offer you so that you can live the life of your dreams and share your magic with the world. So if that sounds intriguing, sign up to lock in the founder's price. I can't wait to help you on your journey tonight. Stay magical.
Thanks so much, Lisa. Great. We've got Dana next.
Hey everyone, I'm Dana Hersh, and I work with helping folks find clarity and insight through lots of different ways. And so I am a medium, a clairvoyant, and a teacher and a healer, and I allow the guidance to come through. And so during this time where we'll be on the panel for business, I'm going to be focusing it around business and how to help you around your specific questions. But in general, I work with folks in all areas of their lives. And I also work in webinars and workshops, and I do sound healing and sound baths. And I'm sorry, I'm being distracted by something that's happening parallel to this. So I think for now, that's what I'll say, and I'll just recompose myself over here and look forward to connecting again.
Sorry, we'll come back to you. We had at least one bomber that was in the room that was sending bad messages to people. We've removed him. If there's anyone else here that's sending messages to anyone, please let me know and we'll get that person out right now. Sometimes they change their names and come back. So yeah, everyone can help with that. Make it a safe space for all of us. We appreciate it. All right, great. We'll come back to you, Dana. Brenda, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. My name is Brenda Bryan, and I am the diviner of human potential. And what I say is that I'll pluck at your heartstrings till you hear your own song. My work over the years is I started channeling when I was 5 and learned that I could follow spirit as a guide to everything that I wanted to achieve in my life. And so in doing that, I took a lot of different paths. And so I'm an experienced manager, communicator. My gifts are in transformational therapy and a hypnotherapist and all of the string of things that go along with learning the art form of transformation. And during my journey, rebooting my career in Portland, I ended up starting a Raise Your Voice Speakers Club to help women really learn how to identify their ideal client, stay authentic and true to themselves, and find a path forward that really they could inhabit the best version of the dream that they want to live. And so I'm really excited about women stepping into their vision and then having the coaching and the support they need to ground it in practical ways to achieve the kinds of results that brings in income while serving their clients for increase by providing quality and quantity of service. And it's a journey, I know, as woo-woos. One of the journeys is how do we speak about what it is that we love and how do we translate that so people understand it without kind of trying to do the, this is technically what I do. So that is the work that I've done in the last 5 years, is to help women really learn the art of discovering their message and embodying their message so that no matter where they're at a networking event or standing on a stage speaking, they're going to be able to really connect with the audience, serve the audience, and be seen authentically for who they want to be. I run a mastermind called the Badass Warrior Circle, and that is really about learning how to take the spiritual practices and apply them to being a successful entrepreneur and all of the pieces that go with that, which is really changing paradigms, learning how to step into the actions you need to take and what those actions look like when you're designing a whole new vision of who you want to be and how to show up in that vision in a way that really sparks your passion and inspires you to serve your clients at the highest possible way. So the last 40 years, I've been an entrepreneur. And I pretty much have the toolkit. And so whatever it is that's going on for you, we can find a way to support you in achieving the results that you're seeking. Brenda Bryan, diviner of human potential.
Thanks so much, Brenda. All right, Lisa, or Christene.
Thank you, Laureli. No, excuse me. My name is Christene Sismondo. My business is Evoluna Healing, and I am a business strategist and energy healer. My modality in energy healing is primarily Eden energy medicine. I discovered Eden energy medicine while I was working in corporate, and I was in corporate for 17 years, focused in business operations and marketing and client relations, doing things like database management and website development and event planning and management, all sorts of super more corporate-y stuff. And then eventually discovered my path into energy healing. And I decided I wasn't going to be able to get my business off the ground while working in corporate. So I left corporate in 2019, at the very end of 2019, right before COVID. And unfortunately, my business was primarily hands-on. So I learned a ton as I was trying to get my business, off the ground through working part-time and trying to figure out how to take it from a part-time to a full-time, and figuring out who my right fit client was, figuring out what to offer and how to offer it around my unique gifts, talents, skills, and abilities. And so my mission is to help other healers, holistic practitioners, and spiritual women entrepreneurs to come into their calling and really build a sustainable business model around their purpose, their passions, and their personality, so that they can do the meaningful work that they're meant to do in the world and pay the bills. My bigger mission is to help create the ripple effect of bringing these healers and holistic practitioners into their calling for the purposes of spreading healing into the world, natural health, just making it more accessible to all, and just really helping people live a life that feels in alignment with what they feel they're meant to do here and how they're meant to serve. So as part of that, I do business coaching, and as part of that, I do energy healing. And one of the things that I realized from a very, very, very young age was that one of the things that holds us back is fear. And so that's one of the primary things I'm constantly helping my clients with throughout the process, is every time a fear arises, using energy work to help move through those fears, to keep them on track and keep them moving forward. And I've got a new pilot program starting up that's called the WOMB Collaborative, WOMB standing for Women of Mission Driven Businesses. And it's a mastermind. Oh, hello, Kitty. It's a mastermind group focused on helping you build and grow your purpose-driven business in community, aligned in calling. So you can find my information in the chat, and I look forward to answering questions here and supporting you with whatever you're inquiring about.
Great. Dana, did you want to jump back in, or do you want to wait a little bit more?
I can kind of just close what I was saying. Thanks.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I'm bringing to the table for you all today is just the ability to tune into higher guides and your guides around what are the pathways forward. And so working in that state can really help kind of get a sense of what is an open door and what is not an open door. And sometimes, we go through a lot of time trying to kind of decipher and clear out and sort out, and it can be really confusing figuring out what one's calling is, where do I want to focus? Is it through this? Is it that? And making decisions. Like, decisions are a big part of growing a business. And so I can help support some of those efforts by helping you to tune into inner truths and what is an empowered way of making your own decisions and moving forward. And so much of it has to do with the inner barriers that we come across, as I'm sure everyone else is nodding, about confidence and trust and self-esteem. And so a lot of that is more of like a spiritual growth process than just a business thing. And that's what I can help people tap into and learn to grow through and evolve.
Great. Thanks, Dana. We also hope to still be joined by Henry India Holden. Henry is the creator of the Mystics Tarot and Oracle cards, and an eco-spiritual life coach and tarotist. And they're also a teacher of sacred space and protection. You can find out more about them at henryindiaholden.com. I'll text them again. Hopefully they will make it. And if not, it'll be on the next panel. And then I'm Laureli Shimayo. I'm an intuitive eye reader, body psychology coach, and matchmaker, both a business and a romantic matchmaker. So my way in is through your eyes. I read your eyes, read your soul, and answer questions about your soul purpose and path. I can help you see how your business and the things that you're doing in your business are in alignment with your soul, or maybe not quite in alignment. I can help you make decisions about what to keep doing in your business and what to let go. For example, you might want to work with someone else to do marketing, or someone else to do bookkeeping, or who knows, all the different kinds of things that are part of an intuitive business that might not be your natural gift. So I help you make those decisions with confidence, and then I can help you connect with other people that might do them for you, be they someone that you hire or someone that you trade and partner with, or there's all kinds of different ways of doing this. You might find there's just all kinds of different ways of doing this. I love to help you with all different areas of your life too. And it could be that and I'll just since we're open to any questions on this panel. And I think all of us too can help you with decisions about your career path and how to, if you're working in a full-time job doing something else, how you can take steps to kind of like come down on your career path so that you can start your business, or how to change up what you're doing in your day job so that it takes less of your energy and less of your time while you're growing your business. And part of that is choosing a job and a group of people to work with that are more aligned with your purpose. I also happen to be an intellectual property consultant. I worked in IP for a number of years.
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but
yeah,
I had the worst vacation about basically I was at a time where the fish started walking around.
Sorry, we evidently have another strange bomber in there. Sorry if someone else is having trouble with that person. So I also an intellectual property consultant. I've worked with tons of other people on their businesses. Technically, I'm a patent agent. I can also give some advice and support on trademarks and copyrights and what to keep as a trade secret and all kinds of things like that. And we may have some other noise. Okay, great. And then I've worked in really large businesses and really small businesses and had my business since 2014. This round was working on it before part-time in addition to other things. And I run all the MeWe fairs in addition to having my own practice. So these are all the different kinds of ways I can support you. You can learn more at intuitiveeyereading.com and matchmakingsoulmates.com. All right. Well, does anyone have anything else they want to share just about yourself and your practice before we dive more into, yeah, go ahead, Brenda.
Yeah, this is such an interesting day. I'm a little foggy from a cold, so I'm a little off. But what I wanted to share is from the time I was 16 till present day, my work has been to empower people to stand in the view of who they want to be. And one of the ways that I do that is I've managed businesses that were $1 million or more that were in the red and need to be brought in the black. And so through my management practices, my communication practices, and my grounding, I'd help those businesses actually turn from being in the red to being in the black and being successful businesses. So when I approach a sole entrepreneur, it's really from the viewpoint of what are they most passionate about? What is the vision they have for who they really want to be? And then how can we articulate that into the actions they take every day to really live a full, successful life through calling on spirit, while taking actions in this material form so that they can actually live healthy, happy lives in full spectrum living, which is like wealth, health and well-being, relationships, vocation, and time, money, freedom. So really coming from the principles of what is a full spectrum life and how can you set up your business up in a way that it is flourishing and fulfilling, and you really love what you're doing, so that every day your feet hit the ground knowing that you're passionate about what you get to do and you get to serve people that really want to work with you.
Great. Yeah. Anyone else? Anything else you want to share generally about your practice and what you do? And then we're going to go through a round where we talk more about the theme. Some of us already, right? I did too, started tapping into that. All right, great. Well, let's see. So Lisa, you gave us a good thorough description, but if you want to jump in and share a little bit more about the theme, so starting and growing your conscious business, any experience you have working in particular clients, anything you want to share, go ahead.
Oh, nothing like putting me on the spot. No, it's okay. So I think that for me, I started my first product line when I was 7 years
my cat jumped on
old. And
so sorry, we've got someone with background noise again, and I can't figure out. Who is this? I can't figure
Lisa
out.
Wilkinson.
Yeah, she
Okay,
went
great.
meow, and then she wasn't my desire.
Sorry, thanks so much, but I
Right,
can't
mate, no
know
one
where this
asked.
person is.
Really
Sorry, I
silly,
didn't-
Lisa.
okay,
I really
great.
like your
All right.
practice.
How strange, we're getting the strangest bombers from even Australia maybe today. All right. Sorry, everyone. All right. They're polite in some ways compared to some other people. All right, back to the theme.
Polite bombers. So yeah, I back when I was very young, I started my first product line when I was 7. And from there, I was inspired to keep moving in the direction of bringing joy to people's lives, because I recognized quickly how people responded to my gifts, let it be art or let it be a service. And from that, it was just a snowball effect that allowed me to then tap in to ask people, what is it you need, right? How can I help? And for me, it's always been a service point of view. And then also using my intuition a little bit, knowing that that person needed a little bit of help, and then trying to give them any support that they needed. Many cases, it was through art. And it was interesting because growing up, there was this dichotomy of art has no relevance. And I struggled with that. And I struggled with, well, if it has no relevance, why am I making people happy with providing art and providing that kind of service? And so that was just something that I had to, continuously unwrap and unravel and make it somebody else's position and not my own point of view. And then from that point, it was understanding that I was summoning courage to continue moving forward. And that's where I am today. And I find that a lot of people struggle really trying to understand who they are and what their voice is. And I want to be able to help them figure out that voice and help figure out how to summon the courage. And through courage, really, it's a matter of understanding their own value and their worth, because whoever is listening, you are worthy. And I just want you to know that. That just resonates so deep in my heart and my soul that so many out there are afraid. And I think as one of you said earlier, afraid and fearful of taking that first step. And so we are getting and growing a community that is of like mind, that we can help support each other in our endeavors, no matter what it is you want, because spirit is also there to help guide you, as are we. So if you're here tonight, please ask questions. No question is off the table.
Great. Thanks so much, Lisa. I was just going in the same order, but so Dana, if you come back. Yeah, go ahead and share any more about the theme, Start and Grow Your Conscious Business.
Yeah, well, I can speak to just my personal journey. And I have had a calling to the healing arts and to being an intuitive practitioner in some way or form for many years, maybe 15 years. I started doing readings 10 or 11 years ago, and I formed my LLC for my healing arts practice in 2016. And yet not until last year, around October or November, did I fully take the leap and just commit to standing in my truth of who I am and what I do in the world, and that I can make money from this gift and from these passions. And so my story has kind of been like this 10-year kind of like angsty dance of going back and forth between, okay, I'm going to do my business that, based on my passions, and I'm going to go into the healing arts. And then I'm not trusting, I'm afraid, how am I going to pay the bills? People don't even know what an intuitive reader is. And all of the blocks that I came across would drive me back to taking the side job. That was this dance that I did for years and years and years. And then feeling, when I'm in the side job, kind of like the resentment that comes up, or the feeling of, oh, I'm not fulfilling my purpose, or I'm not actually doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and it's taking my energy. And so, I have a lot of appreciation for just like the places that we have to source from, right, to make something happen in a way that is aligned and, in this theme of conscious business. And I really am a proponent of, taking a stand for yourself and taking a risk, taking a leap of faith, and getting support so that you are grounded in that process of going into this entrepreneurship or business of whatever you're creating, but to really fully believe in yourself, as someone else mentioned as well. And again, I mentioned that one of my gifts is to tune into the guidance coming through, particularly for the path that you're on. And so I'm looking forward to, in my own way, offering support and words and guidance on these particular questions that you're asking. So yes, please ask all of the questions.
Great. Thanks, Dana. Brenda, did you want to jump in and share a bit more? Oh, and I got you muted, so let's get you unmuted.
Away we go. Well, life is such a journey, isn't it? And where we start and where we will go depends on our willingness to stay present and conscious for what is our heart calling us to do and what is spirit guiding us to do. And are we really willing to follow that path? And that certainly has been the life that I've lived, is following spirit's guidance for me, which has put me into all kinds of different gyrations of careers. I call myself a Renaissance woman, and I was having a joke with myself the other day, which is that anybody who can't keep a job calls themselves a Renaissance woman. The reason I can't keep a job is I get bored really quick. I'm really a fast thinker, an intuitive thinker, and a leader. And if I can't fulfill that relationship in the job, then I'm going to move on and get something that actually excites me and that I'm passionate about. I'm a graduate of the Nova Scotia College of Art and Design, graduating in what we would now call branding. And so as a speakers coach, what I really do is I take those years of working in the women's movement and working as a mediator and facilitator and community leader to really help you hone in on the voice of you, the truth of you, and what it is that you really want to be doing. I'm not here to tell you who to be. I'm here to elicit from you a sense of what is it that's really calling you. And yes, fear is a piece of that situation, which is why I teach the transformational tools I teach, is because when we can stay present in the noticing what we're noticing, when we can really look at what are we longing for and what is our discontent, and when we can really ask the question, what would I love, and take action from that place, then we can actually ground out in practical ways the way that we can succeed at really living in the passion and living financially successful in our passion. And that to me is something that a lot of us, especially in the healers world where we've been given contradictory spiritual advice, to step into recognizing that money is part of our spiritual path, that success is part of our spiritual path, and that there is a way forward. And all of us here have ventured forward in different strategies and different techniques. And so this is a great day for you to be asking a question for what would it take for me to succeed? What would it take for me to step into really getting past the fear and stepping into a bona fide way in which I can really listen to my calling and step into what I'm being asked to do through the purpose that I've been born to serve. And to me, that's the really important part of this. What is the purpose that you're meant to serve, and are you ready to step into it and claim your spot at the table as somebody who's a change agent in the world? And boy, do we need conscious entrepreneurs working their heart out to succeed financially so that we can show our worth in the world. So that's where I'm going to leave it for today.
Great. Thanks so much, Brenda and Christene.
It's hard to follow up, Brenda. I think I'm going to start with a story from when I was 6 years old, because I honestly think that that's when my calling started. So for me, I was a little first grader playing on the playground, and I was on one of those bars that are like 3 inches thick in diameter, and I was doing spins forward and backwards, 1 leg, 2 legs, and I had this little kindergartner come out, a little 5-year-old, and she was just watching me, and she asked, "Would you be willing to teach me that? Could you teach me how to do that?" And I remember being like, yeah, I can do that. So for the next 3 weeks, we spent every single recess working together, every single recess. And I remember when I got asked this question, I was excited about it. And I was like, okay, she's never been on a bar before. What is it going to take her to get from where she is to where I am? And I broke it down. It was like my little 6-year-old mind. I'm not sure how I had this, but just even at that ripe young age of 6, I was able to break down step by step by step by step by step by step by step every little baby thing that we would have to go through in order for her to learn how to do what I was doing. And I just remember the very first thing, even at 6 years old, the very first thing was I knew that she needed to get over the fear. I knew that she needed to get used to what it felt like in her body to sit on a bar, what it felt like in her body to fall backwards, which that creates this dramatic flip-flop in your stomach. And so I remember just having her grab the bar and lean back and just kind of get comfortable with the fact that she could pull herself up and, trust her body. And then I remember holding her back and slowly lowering her down, taking her through the range of motion so that she could experience in her physicality what that would be like. And I just remember every little step of the way, I was so excited, so excited, so excited. But the real excitement for me came the day that she went 360 degrees around that bar. When she went 360 degrees around that bar, it was like my chest just exploded. It was this massive energy field. Like, I didn't understand that at the time, but now looking back, it was just like heart chakra, just. And that's when it landed for me, that I thought my calling was to be a teacher. But when we're that young, we're so limited with what it is that we think or know of that we can be when we grow up. So I spent the next 17 years thinking I was going to be a teacher. And it wasn't until I got into college, out into the schools, and really diving in like substantially, like I was living, breathing, teaching, that I realized, oh my gosh, I don't want to teach. And then that took me on a different direction. Like, okay, if it's not teaching, then what? Because everything was focused on that. And then I went down the career path of business for 17 years. And then it's like, I ran into energy healing. I was like, okay, wait, maybe this is the thing. And what I ended up doing was leaving corporate to start my energy healing practice. But the one mistake, or one of the mistakes that I made, was thinking that I was going to cut off everything in business that I had just done for the last 17 years. I thought, I am just going to sever this and I'm going to go all head into energy healing, and that's all I'm going to do. And so it was sort of like chopping off my right leg. How am I supposed to move forward thinking that I'm just going to use this business experience just for myself, right? When really, Spirit didn't give me 17 years of business experience just for me. That was for you, right? That was for all my people that I was going to serve. And so one of the lessons that I want to share about just being conscious in your business is being conscious about where you've been in your life, what's called to you from the very beginning, from a super young age. And, not to just cut off or chop off those things in your past that you don't think are going to support you in the path you're moving into, because they happen to you for a reason. It's like, take all those pieces that are you and bring them forward. And one of the other mistakes that I made, which wasn't a very conscious decision or thought process, was to really focus on selling the modality. And I feel like I put myself in a modality box. It was like I had learned Eden energy medicine. And when I went to go pursue my business, I was like selling Eden energy medicine. But that wasn't really what I should have been selling, right? It was so much bigger than that. It was so much more and beyond just the modality. It's like, who was I and who are you, that you have all this other experience that you're bringing into your work? And so I just want to bring that in from that conscientious perspective of like coming into your calling and really carrying things from your past into what you're moving into, because it's not just about the modality that you learned, it's everything in your life. It's all of your learnings, all of your experiences, and how they can support the people that you're meant to serve.
Yeah, that's great. That was a lovely story, and it made me think of all kinds of other things that I want to say. Let me say a little bit more about me first. Well, so one is I started off as a scientist. I ended up taking a break from science. I worked in agriculture and medicine, and I worked in ceramics for a while, and I taught ceramics and, did some art history research projects, and found my way then to intellectual property, and then found my way to leadership coaching, and then finally, so all these crazy steps. So a lot of us have a lot of different steps. So all the things that you do definitely can feed into they fed into who you are, and you can use them in various ways now. So for example, way back when I was in high school, and there's a theme here, you had me thinking about junior high and like the first thing I got paid for. I'll mention that in a moment. But in junior high, I went to get off campus for lunch. My mom wouldn't let me do that, so I made myself a fake lunch pass. Well, who knew that making a fake lunch pass would help me later for doing my patent work, because I would get drawings from engineers that needed to get like whited out and made differently for the patent office. So the first job I had, which totally, like, I was laughing, I used to get in trouble. These are themes, right? So I did things I wasn't supposed to do. I would chew gum in class. I would talk too much. much in class. Big surprise. I love community. I love people, and I love learning through talking. So I would have to write 100 times. I will not chew gum in class. I will not chew gum in class. And I was good at that because I'm actually good at doing the same thing over and over again. For those of you that watch me run panels or run fairs, or like I do the same thing over and over again, and it's okay for me. So I used to get paid to write these things for other people. So I'd sit there in the bus, multitasking on the bus, writing, I will not talk for other people. I'm good at it and I could do it. So so turn whatever we're good at into our work. Now, I don't really love those things. I really love being with people. And it took me a while to discover being with people and to let myself be with people. And so to this day, I do strategic holding of space for people in so many ways. Oh, goodness. One part of my work is body psychology, and it's connected to some of the things that other people have shared too. And Brenda and I have some related to training in this, and energy work is so much about body too. I believe that we don't need anything special, like even having me read your eyes. If you're attuned to your body, if you're noticing your body and you know what it means, you can use this as like a whole body muscle test to make all kinds of decisions. So it's great to determine yes or no, or this size and not that size, or not now, later. And fear. There are all kinds of different types of fear in the body. There are certain signatures for those types of fear. So you can notice when it's a fear that you're manufacturing in your head. You can use your body to shift out of that kind of fear and get on your path. And your body will give you information. When you're connected to something that you love doing, chances are you don't notice time. Chances are you have lots of energy from doing that thing. These are all messages that your body gives you. So I use this in all kinds of contexts, including business. Oh, and I'm reminded too, I'm so used to coaching people with intuitive businesses, and we have the theme of conscious business. And so this is really where anyone that's been studying any kind of spirituality or personal growth or consciousness, how do you bring these into the way you do your work, whether you do it in the world, working for someone else, whether you do it working for yourself and sharing your gifts in the world. And again, your body gives you all of the guidance that you need. And, sometimes you need consultants and other people to support you in that process. But connecting to your body is a way that you can depend on yourself and get answers. Oh goodness, I feel like there was so much more, Christene, too, that you said that I wanted to comment on. And I'm not taking notes, not really here at the moment, but I'm like, so yeah, yeses and nos and following your truth, and you'll know the difference when you're in alignment. All right, well, let's see. So does anyone have anything else you want to say about the theme? We are very open for questions. I'm going to put the notes in the chat again about how you can pay. We've got PayPal and Venmo on here. If anyone has paid to ask a question, please let me know in the chat so I can get you in line. And by the way, while we're waiting for someone else to have a question, panelists, we can also ask each other questions. And so we can get insight on our businesses if we want while we're waiting too. So anyone else have anything else you want to share about the theme? Anyone on the panel? Sometimes hearing each other, we get prompted to think of more things to say.
Yeah, I think there were a couple things I didn't mention that are part of my story. And the one that's coming to mind is when that little girl asked me, would you be willing to teach me how to do this? Or can you teach me how to do this? And my answer was immediately yes. And it was like a full body, absolute yes. But not just that, it was like, I didn't need a credential in order to do that. I didn't need a degree. Like, I didn't need anything other than, just trusting in and believing in myself and putting her desire ahead of all else. And so a lot of times we can get stuck, like not moving forward, because oftentimes we're thinking about ourselves and we have that thing of, what's the term? Imposter syndrome come up where we're like, oh, I'm not good enough. I can't this, I can't that. I don't have this. I need more training, all of those sorts of things. But if we just put the other person ahead of thinking about our own lack of worthiness, then we're perfectly capable of helping other people. So I just want to say that you don't always need the next training and the next training and the next training and the next credential. I mean, yes, as an entrepreneur, you're going to continue to grow and learn and need to learn different things in order to make your business viable. But it's not always more credentials, not always more, official education.
Yeah. I strongly believe that when we do what we love, we're better at it than people generally can teach us. There might be some specific skill we want to learn. And other than that, when we're doing what's natural, it is our gift. Yeah. And the big thing is trust in our gift. I say I'm taking steps, learning to be in fear and to take steps anyway. So the reason why this event is happening, the reason why all the MeWe events are happening is because someone said, hey, how about if we do XYZ? And I said, yes. And I took steps, even though I had no clue. Right. Had little bits of clues, but I learned as I went. So part of that is taking good sized steps too. So like, for example, I might be taking way too many steps. I'm going to be in 4 new cities this year. So for MeWe Fairs, yeah, that's a lot. I didn't quite mean to do all this at once, but I had a great opportunity and a great opportunity, great opportunity. So yeah, so I'm going to get much better at running fairs and new events this year. That's going to be my big learning. Or new venues, new cities. Yeah. Oh goodness.
And talk a little bit about the concept of belief, because we've been trained that seeing is believing, and the order of things is believing is actually seeing. When we work with quantum physics and we work with our thinking stuff, when we can really hold to a vision of who we want to be, and we surround ourselves with people who are willing to be partners in belief around that, we can accomplish so much. But we need to be rarely selective about who we surround ourselves with, because so many people will tell us, well, what credentials do you have, or why do you think you can do that? And when spirit is breathing through us, it's not about what we think, it's about what an actual fact we're being called to do, and then what it takes to actually do it. Means finding a way forward, because we are called to do that, and we do whatever we can to enact it in whatever way it may show up. So, we start being a teacher only to discover that we're a coach or a mentor, but all of the skill sets are the same, because what we're doing is we're communicating with people around giving them the space to believe in themselves. And that to me is why I call myself the diviner of human potential, because it's the only thing I know that I do the best, is I hold a respectful space for that human being to really know that they are loved, and that who they are is special. And in that being special, they get to step into ownership of that and act on it in some way that feeds and nurtures them. And that is the job. And there's no one way of doing anything. And that's certainly what my college education taught me and my life experience taught me. There's no one way. And so if you can't do it that way, what's the other possibility? What's the other possibility? What's the other possibility? So we want to stand in that creative force of knowing that when we're called to do something, it's because an actual fact, the universe has our back and is going to start to show us how to do it when we stay present for the vision and for the feeling of believing in ourselves and finding people who believe in us. So I have partners in belief. That's some of my coaches, but it's also the dear close friends who trust and who kick me in the ass when I'm not showing up for myself, but who also nurture me and love me when I'm having a bad day. But we have to have that community. To me, communities is really key to being successful.
Yeah, it's great. I know I have like a question for the panel that's like blubbering around, kind of like flipping up. And so I have a question I know I'd love to ask. Does anyone out there, anyone in the audience have a question you want to ask us? We would love to answer your question. It is sliding scale 20 to 28 or $12 for BIPOC folks. Does anyone have a question you want to ask us? Because you get priority, you in the audience. And it's great if you ask us a personal question, just like you would sitting for a private session. That's the way that we can give you the most insight and the way that everyone can learn so much from your question. So we'd love to do something like that. All right, well, I'm going to ask my question just as a way of moving some things along. And it's totally an imposter syndrome question. And it's got practical, like consulting-y stuff at the same time. So I'm moving into new venues. My responsibility is to find cost-effective venues. So I know how much my venues currently cost. Some of them are quite expensive. Some of them are not so high. And I charge about the same price in all the different cities, although the cities where my venues cost less, I charge less for a booth. And I think about some practical things of like, there's one city where I've taken over someone else's fair where it's been free for people to come. And I don't know if I can charge admission to that one. And I need to make sure I get enough people attending for my vendors. So I'm not going to charge admission there. So I know I'm going to make less on that. So I got to like juggle all these things in the formula. And so there's another new city that I'm going to be in, and it was crazy. They had me pay like for each room I'm going to be in a big building for every day. So I finally added it all up, and I'm like, okay, I was right. It was a very reasonable price, not like crazy cheap, but it was totally reasonable price. So I now have to set the booth prices for my vendors. So I know and it's in a city where and I'll just say it's Yachats. So I've been going to someone else's fair in Yachats for years. I have to go look up what their price is so I know what people are used to paying there, because I don't remember what it is. And then I've mapped out about how many booths of each size is and all that, so I can do some math. And I have to count on it not being completely full, because some people will cancel, and I aim to be flexible about things like that. It's the only year I'm going to run a fair there too, so I can't just move it to Yachats to next year. And so I know what proportion I've been used to earning on things, right? So I've got my venue, I've got all the marketing, it's new marketing, it's a new place. I'm going to invest a whole bunch of my personal time into it. And then I have admin staff that does stuff and staff that's at the event and all these different things. And who knows, whatever costs I haven't even thought about yet. And it's a long drive for me and all these things. So I know what proportion I've usually been able to earn from events. If it's a good price on the venue, how do I step into letting myself earn more? Because I know I don't earn enough yet from all that I do. And I have to balance having it be a reasonable price for everyone. So if I can do it where I could earn a little bit more on this, I like to whatever practices you have, or like, how do I support me to let myself give more to me? This is something that comes up for people all the time. And I'm getting all teary asking this question, because I know this is like the big journey for me with all that work of running all these events.
Laureli, you got this.
Thanks so much, Zoe.
I wanted to say you got this because you've been like a role model to me.
And I would say we usually don't let the people in the audience share, but Zoe's always wanting to talk. I'm like, Zoe, I so appreciate that that's the first thing you said. Go ahead, Zoe, you can keep saying. I so appreciate you.
And I what's the topic tonight, Laureli?
Yeah, I know you came in a little bit later, so it's starting growing conscious business. So we totally want to take questions from the audience. However, no one stepped up to ask a question yet, so I thought I'd ask. So I appreciate, Zoe, that my events have made a difference for you and that you trust me to be able to do it.
You've really helped me out. I love you so much.
Thanks so much, Zoe. So I know this is like ways that I get fed so much by what I do. And it's I have to allow that I get fed by doing this for other people, not to take away from me feeding myself financially too.
Laureli, can I finish what I said?
Sure, Zoe, go ahead. And then, we want to go to the panel. Go ahead.
So I wanted to say that the panel has been treating me like with respect, and I just love you guys.
Thanks so much, Zoe. I'm really glad you've been able to participate in events. Thanks for working with me and collaborating to see how you can participate more.
And I just love Lisa and Christine and Brenda and Dana and you. Laureli, I love you all.
Thanks so much, Zoe.
Lisa, you just make me laugh.
Okay, Zoe, thank you. So let's hear what the panelists have to share. And I know some of you even come to the in-person events and all that, so it's all a mixture of all these things. Oh, yeah.
So thank you, Zoe. I always try to provide a little levity in any group that I belong in and participate in. But more on a professional note, Laureli, my question to you is, how well was the fair attended that you walked through? And I forget what the town name is.
Oh, yeah. I went to someone else's fair. Yeah. So, right. So part of what I go through is that sometimes other people run fairs. in cities where I've been running things or nearby, or so I get to go through my own little I get nervous someone else is doing this, right? I don't own all the space, right? We could all share this together. I know it wasn't as well attended as this person wanted, and they didn't have as many booths as they wanted. It's just a huge learning process, right? And I say, for those of you who don't know, I've been running this these fairs since 2014 in person, started in Portland in my house with 6 people. It grew to be 11 around my house. And then I finally started at a venue where I could have 20 and then 25. And it was a long time at 20 and 25. And then it got to be 35 and 45. And like, it's been a long journey. And I've learned so much by making so many not good decisions. Yeah, so much. Okay, Lisa. So yeah. So they didn't have nearly as many people as they wanted, booths or public.
Okay. And I would welcome any other practitioner here on the panel if they want to chime in and ask questions too, because I think there's going to be a lot of discovery session here for us to then start kind of giving you feedback. That's how I feel that this it's almost like a mastermind circle, I think. What do you ladies think?
And I didn't charge for people to have booths at first. I didn't know I was running a fair. I didn't know there were booths. And I eventually started charging something because people would just not come. And then I had empty tables and that was horrible.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And my experience has always been that when you charge an entrance fee, that means people are more willing to put skin on the table, right? They know what they're coming into. So they're willing to, it's like, okay, yeah, I'll pay $5 at the door, no problem, right? Because I intend to spend. Really, that is their attitude.
And I only started charging $5. I can't remember if it was right before. I don't even know if it was before the pandemic. Maybe it was like right before, but charging $5 admission is something else I had to work my way to over a long time. Because it's this juggle of like, I keep growing and getting bigger. And so then there's more people I have to bring. And, you know, anyway, I have to promise a good enough experience for people for the value that it's like all these, you know, for the vendors and the public. And so I want to keep growing bigger. And then do I know I'm doing enough and providing enough that I can ask for more and yeah. And then there'll be a mixture sometimes at different events. Sometimes some practitioners make a lot of money, practitioners and vendors, some make a lot and some don't. And part of it is their learnings about things. And anyway, all these things to juggle.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I have a couple more questions, but if anybody else wants to jump in, because I just kind of want to listen to some of the feedback.
Because it could be a collective, everyone working together.
I can't say I have a question per se, but you know, somewhere in there, I need to get more curious about this, Laureli. What I'm picking up here is you're letting circumstances kind of dictate your emotions. I would like you to reverse the order of that. I'd like you to take a vision and work with the laws of the universe, work with the law of specificity, and really hone in on what is the income level you want to be working at, and then work backwards from there so that you can start to see how to incrementally shift both how much the people are paying for the booths, but also energetically tap into the abundance within the universe to show you another way to make these situations more profitable and easier for you. So that's a visioning process. Mm-hmm. And that's a kind of you landing in the place of how much are you working with your breath and noticing when you're in fear mode, and how much are you using your vision as part of your motivator and your inspirer to kind of step into what actions am I going to take that are going to create a different financial outcome for me that isn't based on what everybody else is feeling, but what I know I'm capable of producing for those people in terms of the rewards that they get because I'm producing such a great event for them. One of the things that came up for me, and this may or may not even work, I know you've worked on this, we've known each other, 10 years now, how much you've worked on this. So just really would like you to kind of orchestrate it backwards. Come up with where you really want to be, the energetics of that, the vision of that, the passion of that, the purpose behind that, the why me behind that, and really step into the belief of that, and then reverse engineer what that means in terms of your actions and what different things could shift that. And so that's breath work, we know these conscious patterns, and so I'm really seeing you needing to interrupt some of the old stories that you're sitting in, and working from a place of what is the vision of really what I want to do, and what's the feeling quality behind that, so that I feel it before I determine anything else. Because you're determining from the feeling quality of being worried about everybody else. Don't worry about them, they're in charge of them. You worry about what the quality of life you really want to reside in is, and step into that with every action you can take. And it's a shift in frequency, we get that, right? But it's you stepping up and towards that vision with every breath you take, generating it from that vision, rather than going the other way and hoping that circumstances work out so that you get what you want. I'm not in favor of that for you, Laureli. You're too powerful in terms of what you bring to the table and the gifts that you're offering this, metaphysics community and all the things that you do for them. How can you step into that with the power of knowing that you are a leader for many who would not have this venue if you did not show up for them? You are an amazing opportunity for many to actually be seen, heard, and to earn a living because you are showing up for them.
Thank you so much. And part of what I felt as you shared that, I did get more grounded as you shared it. And also it helped me see how, and this might be true for everyone, having a goal, like if I can find myself feeling into the goal and really own the goal, then I have a more objective, how am I doing towards my goal, and not get caught in the personal stuff about it in as much along the way too. So it helped me make it more objective.
Yeah, it'll help you a whole bunch. It's still personal, but the objectives, the specificity of what you want, and the holding of that vision is really going to motivate you in a different way around how you go at this.
Great, thank you so much. Okay, I guess Dana, and then Lisa, and then Christine.
Yeah, and I just want to appreciate how you brought forward questions from your own personal life and business, and it's great. And I really love, Brenda, what you were saying there, and I'm getting something to kind of go off of, Brenda, what you're saying, but from the emotional and energetic space. And so I'm just going to go inside for a moment, and this is kind of how I tune in and connect to information with my eyes closed. Because I'm getting for you, there's something really tender there, Laureli. And I don't know you at all, really, but that what I'm picking up on is that when it comes to this notion of providing for others and making it accessible, and if there's an idea around a certain limit or roof on a financial aspect or a cap, then you are preventing others from accessing. And that took me to this kind of deeper place that I don't know if this is from childhood or a past life. It's like lots of members in the family, and it almost, what comes is Ireland, and there's in this time of the scarcity and food and the famine, there's this literal feeling of, if I'm taking what I want to take, or if I'm if I'm nourishing myself with what I want to nourish myself with, then I'm taking from others, and there is an immediate impact on someone else's well-being because of the choices that I'm making. And so I'm just curious if from more of a subtle plane or an emotional space, if any of that rustles anything up for you or lands.
Yeah, well, goodness, I definitely have 3 important caregivers growing up, and fairness is really important for 2 of them, in weird ways. And yeah, weird ways, but definitely a fairness thing. And then, oh goodness, kind of excluding people that take too much, and also excluding people that don't take enough. And so weird bouncing around. And part of my family is from Ireland, and part of my family also is from like Poland, Russia. And I can imagine there were some other issues there too. And yeah, and not necessarily about money, but about other kinds of nourishing things. There was definitely like scarcity, and I had to be really careful about all that. And if I did anything to get attention, it was a problem. So probably taking less of everything and being small was a good strategy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think it's true for my mom too. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And I'll just leave you with some words, because I know this is a whole other process and it can go deep. But I'm just hearing for you that you really are creating value by being by nourishing yourself and nourishing others. And that, those places that you get hooked, it's not so much about, oh, do I charge this or do I charge that? You're doing your due diligence on the plane of business and events, but it's really coming back to this part of that belief that kind of reframing that, shifting it to where it's okay to have value and it's okay to have impact. And that is a ripple effect that's created outside, as opposed to like kind of rationing and portioning the pie. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Thanks for allowing me to share some words.
Thanks so much. All right, great. Lisa.
I loved what Brenda and Dana both had to say, and I just want to riff off of what Brenda was saying. What I got when she was talking about stepping in vibrationally, what I heard was rising tide lifts all boats. And once you step into a higher vibration, you raise that tide and you bring us along with you. And I think that is an important analogy for a story, a quick story I want to share. Last week, Andrew and I went to Vegas. My partner and I went to Vegas. And we're not gamblers, right? We go to see Cirque du Soleil shows. But it was also my birthday week. And so we were, walking through the, Mall of America, because, entertainment capital of the world. What are you going to do with the money that you win? So, we're walking through shops, and Hermès is one of my favorite shops. I've always looked to Hermès. I love the graphics and the emails that they send out, because they do little animations with real products and so forth. And I've always loved that. But Andrew gifted me a set of cologne from Hermès. And of course, I was like, oh, I love it. My spirit team pushed me to the cologne counter, the toilet counter, and I picked up one called Iris. I smelled it and I'm like, oh my God, this smells so clean. And I could feel it in my soul. It just resonated with me. Colognes don't do that normally. And I'm like, this is so special. And so my partner said, well, it is your birthday. I'm like, dude, you've already just spent a ton of money on this vacation. I don't need this. And he's like, no, you don't need it, but do you want it? And I'm like, well, I won't say no. And he's like, do you want it? And I'm like, okay, I guess I do want it. And he's like, okay, then let's get it for you. And for me, it was a check-in. What I've been hearing about the universe, how it tests you, I don't know that it's testing so much, but more like it's checking in with you. I was forced to look at my openness to receiving an expensive gift. So it was a personal checkup for me to evaluate my resistance to accepting abundance in my life. And I wanted to share that with you because I think that might resonate on some level for you. Something else I overheard, and I will go find the link and I will share it with everyone. I saw a quick snippet of a TED Talk where he had discovered that farmers who were harvesting, they made 60% of their income during this harvest. And that was the 60% of their income for the year. And when they were sowing and reaping, their IQ points went down, 10, 15 points. And so the equation of having lack and scarcity, the IQ point went down. But then when they harvested, their IQ points went back up. So it was dialed in and connected to scarcity versus abundance. And I thought that was absolutely fascinating. And I want to learn more about that, because we all know that when we're feeling abundant, we feel our heart bursts open, like Christine's did when she was sharing, how to circle around that bar for the 5-year-old. And as you lead this community, Laureli, you show us how we can be better and how we can step in and how we can find courage to co-create. And so you're heading in the right direction. But the question is, are you open to receiving more?
Great. Thank you so much. And yeah, a bunch of that does resonate. Yeah. It's great. And good for you. Yeah. Glad you got that example. All right. Christene.
So, Laureli, when I heard you speak, the biggest thing I heard out of all of it was toward the very end of, how do I allow myself to receive more, right? That was the biggest piece that I heard out of everything. And it reminded me of one of the lessons that I learned early on in my entrepreneurial experience, because I got my first business coach ever. Her whole shtick was get paid what you're worth. And the whole time I was working with her, it was around this sense of like being paid what you're worth. And it was about worthiness. And when we're in business, it has absolutely nothing to do with our own worth. And it has everything to do with the value, the perceived value that the people that we're working with see as how it relates to their own life. So I'm going to give you a couple little mini story examples of that. So when I was doing my energy healing practical work to get certified, I had a client who came over. She had some arthritis type issues, and she had a hard time getting up my stairs, which is something I didn't think forward on, was I might end up with people who have difficulty getting upstairs. So my healing space was upstairs. She had to go up the stairs. She really super struggled. She got on the table. We did some techniques, some really basic energy work. By the time she got off the table, her swelling in her legs had substantially gone down, and going down the stairs was like crazy easy for her in comparison to going up the stairs just like, 75 to 90 minutes earlier. And so she was wowed by this. And she reported back, I checked in with her about a week later, and she said almost the entire week she was pain-free for the first time in I don't know how many months, like a year or more months. So you would think that that person would have a very strong, value. They would value the work, but she never came back. She never came back. Fast forward about a year, and I'm working with a person who's in the hospital. She had lost her sister to cancer about a year and a half prior. She lost her mom to cancer about 7 months prior. She was in the hospital because she had had a brain tumor that she had to have removed. And her body was like shutting down. Like they were giving her steroids and medications, and it just wasn't processing. I did, again, really basic energy work, foundational core basic energy work, more or less the same work that I had done on the woman who had arthritis. But this person hadn't been eating in 3 weeks. She wasn't sleeping regularly. She wasn't processing her medications that they were giving her, and she felt like she was at the end of her life. After that session, she was able to eat again. She slept for 7 hours straight that night, and she managed to get out of the hospital and start recovering. I continued working with her because she wanted to see me as often as possibly she could. So it has absolutely nothing to do with your worth. It has everything to do with the worth that they perceive it to be in their life. Is it worth it? So if, again, related back to my story earlier, if you focus on just serving, and think about the value of what it is that you have to offer, charge a fee that feels reasonable for the amount that you have to offer. And $5 for an entrance fee is like the price of a coffee. Like, it's nothing. So if you focus on them and not on your own worth, you're going to feel much better about the offer that you're creating, what it is you're charging people to attend as attendees, and what it is you're charging people to attend to hold a booth. And also, if you hold the space for that value, they're going to hold the space for that value too.
Yeah, I'm hearing the ripple effects too of when I don't honor my value, how I set myself up to also not have my value honored.
Yeah.
There's the
Alright.
mindset piece, right? In creating a vision, like what we don't understand is the frequency, the message that we're sending out. And so, and that's the invitation for you, Laureli, because there you are, this beautiful opportunity to really help raise the frequency for others because you're showing up for your sense of place and your sense of what you contribute. And that's where most of us give away our precious time and energy, is because we don't serve from that place of increase. And that means everything that we do. And I know you this way, Laureli. I've never had an exchange with you where I haven't felt seen, heard, loved, and taken care of, ever. Even when I needed a kick in the ass, I always felt seen, loved, and heard by you, right? And so that would be my want for you is to is to really have that vision of the quality of increase that you bring by the very essence of the life journey you've been on and the time and effort you put in to create increase for all these practitioners, and then all of the people who come because they get to meet these amazing people who are gifted, who they would not necessarily have any other opportunity. They're not easy to find. We're not easy. As healers, we're not easy to find, man. So, and because we've gone underground so deep in a lot of ways. So you're offering this place of visibility, opportunity, connection, a lifeline for their business to succeed. And if you're not showing up for that, then who the fuck is going to? If you're not, then this is
Amen.
the blessing of you. And yes, we've all had many different careers, which is where there are no mistakes. Everything that we've had to do, we've done because it's grown a muscle and an opportunity. Everything that you do and have done is creating this place of increase for everybody who shows up, either as a practitioner or as the audience, or as a client, or as a speaker, or whatever. So if you're not claiming it, then I'll do it for you. I'll claim that for you. I'll let you do all the work. I'll just stand in there and take it up. I'm lying. Everybody knows that I would never do that. But I love you so much that it's hard for me to see you not step into this amazing gift that you bring all of us.
Thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much, all of you. I've taken notes on all this. So in addition to watching it, I can read the words over and over and over and over, right here. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I feel so much calmer and so much more of course about this. Yeah. Thank you so much. And I got appreciation from other people in the chat too. I saw your words. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'll go back and look at more things too. All right. Yeah, thank you. Oh, gosh. All right. Yeah. All right. And thanks everyone for giving me so much time. Okay. Well, I know we've got someone else that's in line. One person in line to ask a question, and then so yeah, glad we got us rolling. So practitioners on the panel, might be more opportunities if you want to ask too. in a bit. A few things I didn't say before we started with me. This is a great opportunity to practice opening your intuition. So I encourage you to have something to scribble with, write with, anything that shows up. You can see if the way we answer is correlated in some way with what comes through you, to see that we're all tapping into the same thing. And of course, you might have something come through you we don't mention. It might be valid. We just happen to not mention it. And, even we could say the same things and it's not valid. We just all are saying the same thing. So it's confirmation that we're doing some similar things. Play with all that. We don't know what the truth is and what's right. This is a great opportunity to learn from all that's asked and all that's answered, whether or not you ask a question. Hope you all enjoyed learning from that previous set of answers that we got. And then if something does come, we're gonna wind back. If something does come through you, please, if you could hold it until we're done answering someone's question. And then if you want, you're welcome to private chat them and see if they want to hear what came through you that might be for them. Please honor whatever they share. And maybe they feel full and they don't want any more. Please trust it came through you for another reason. And when you ask a question on our public panel that is recorded and will be posted online, if we go deeper than you want us to share in this format, or we talk about topics you don't want us sharing about here, please interrupt us and let us know. We want to stay honoring of you in the way that we are answering. All right. Well, let's see. So I think A is in line with a question. And A, do you want to be on voice? Do you want to write it in chat? What would you like to do?
I'm okay to ask verbally.
Okay, great.
Can you hear me? Okay, great.
Yeah, great.
So I've been kind of toying with doing some kind of intuitive business of my own. I'm not sure exactly which modality I would do. I've been kind of toying with a few different ones and trading with folks. And I think my question is just around is how valuable is this to put my energy into? I also work full time. I am considering further education. I'm trying to do things with my personal life. And so it's just like there's so many different things. Part of me feels really pulled to this, but part of me, I don't know, it's just kind of not moving forward in it formally. So I'm just
What did you
curious
say the
anything
last
that
bit? Part of you is
like
what?
not really moving forward with it. It's like I've been sort of circling, but not really leaping. I'm just curious anything people see around this. Like, is this valuable? Is it valuable to do it now? Am I gifted in this way? Like, anything. Thank you.
Great. And then some of us, particularly those of us that run things, have seen you at a lot of things and heard other questions and so have a larger context. Some of the others on the panel, one other person on the panel that's been in several things might also have that. Is it okay we refer to some of the other questions, or if we're vague enough, or you want us to say like right here?
I think if you can be somewhat vague, that's helpful.
Sorry, somewhat what?
Somewhat vague is still
Vague,
better,
okay.
but you can
Okay.
refer to something.
Somewhat vague. Okay, great. And then one thing that some people may want to know is, or certainly given the makeup of who we are, if you shared a little bit about some of the different modalities that you're exploring, we'd have a chance to see if those modalities feel in alignment with your energy.
Sure. So the one that feels most authentic to me is almost like an intuitive coaching. And so I do talk with people, I ask them questions, and then I combine it with intuition. But I've toyed with all kinds of things. I will sometimes just directly download information straight for folks. It's a little less comfortable for me going right into it, but I do it. Intuitive writing is also a really natural one. And then toyed with others, but I think those are the main ones that I think I would do more.
And when you say intuitive writing, do you mean specifically in terms of answering people's questions or having other messages come through that are for people generally? Or something else?
I guess both. And when I do it for other people's questions, I never like to do it in front of them. So it's like we'll discuss first, and then on my own, I would go download information. Sometimes I get that in visuals, but sometimes I just get it as straight writing. And then I would go back and meet with them and discuss with them what came through.
Okay, so the idea of being on a panel like this where you have to come up with things instantaneously is not for you at this time.
I mean, so that's where I can do the type where information comes directly, but it's not as it's a little bit of a stretch for me. Like I do it straight one-on-one with people, but it's usually not a 3-minute thing. It's usually like a 20, 30-minute unpack together. kind of thing. So I think that's where it does feel like a little bit of a leap to fit into the format that
Yeah, it's
exists.
I'm just kind of teasing this with things. And I want to ask a question about one of the, and that's why I'm kind of leaning into my answer a little bit, but I'll stop after this. That's my plan. In wanting to, and you mentioned education, like that you're exploring more education. I'm assuming that wanting, how should I say? I'm assuming that you want to do more than what you're currently doing at your current work, and that a solution for that might be more education. And I wonder if a solution of that is really to explore this other work also. Is that correct?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. All right. So practitioners, we generally have you raise your hand in Zoom chat if you're ready to answer. Some of you were raising hands before, but yeah, we can be informal. Okay, go ahead, Lisa. I'll let you know at like 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Great, thank you. Hey, good evening, A. Welcome to the panel tonight, and I welcome your question. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with my cards, but I've created a set of oracle cards that are aligned with the business structure. And the first card that I pulled for you from the oracle deck is air. And we know that air is about intellect and strategy. And for business, it's also about brand strategy, business strategy, marketing, and communications. What I do with that is I dive a little bit deeper, and I have a dedicated tarot deck that I use. And so the pip cards are all separated out, and the pip card that popped out, Spirit chose, is the 7 of Needles. And I like these cards because they're very graphic and they've got a lot of keywords on them. And I always pull all the cards upright, and I might find a word in protection that we might use as a caveat. But the words on this card include betrayal, deception, cunning. And I have to ask, because you said earlier, are you even skilled at this? Are you even, is that what you said? You wanted to get into intuitive coaching?
Yes, I did say that. Something like, am I even, like, are my gifts even here?
Okay. Okay. So one, I will say, yes, your gifts are here. We all have the gifts. It's just a matter of skill and amplifying that skill. But my question to you is, has someone else in your life, in your inner circle, told you you are not skilled and you're not good at it and not even to pursue it?
I'm thinking. I don't know about intuition things directly, but obviously there's just the kind of like societal view of this stuff that has been in circles I'm in.
Okay. Okay.
This
So
whole body of work is not really real or valuable.
right, right. And that kind of stigma is something that community like Laureli's can help bolster you and support you on. And I think that when we are so immersed in somebody else's point of view, we tend to internalize it. And I don't want you to do that. I want you to start stepping out, finding the courage, take that first step and start practicing. If that means showing up on these panels quietly like you're doing and using your intuition or your channeling skills, that's what you're doing. You're channeling, using those skills quietly in the background. It's what I did before I started on these panels. And it gave me so much courage and confidence. And also the practitioners who were going through and answering those questions, I was getting supportive evidence. And I'm like, you know what? I've got this. And Lorelei recognized it right away. So I appreciate Lorelei for that. And now I just want to extend that invitation to you to at least start playing with it, knowing that you are intuitive. You just need to figure out which modality is going to serve you or which combinations of modalities are going to serve you. Okay.
Okay, thanks. Was the message in chat. Okay, great. All right, who wants to go next? I can speak next while other people are kind of waiting. Yeah, let's see. Oh goodness. And how to get my ego out of the way of believing like anyone that's open, of course they should do this. I experienced that you are a natural coach, that I have benefit of knowing your eyes, and I think it's a natural component of your eyes, not only to coach people, to coach people in a more energetic, intuitive way. So I think that particularly with your eyes, it's totally in alignment with who you are. I think that you do a version of coaching already in your life. I'm imagining that you're feeling held back and shut down by people. You're not as able to share all that you want to share and as creatively as you want to share already. And so having other outlets makes so much sense to me. Even if you do it only as a hobby and you let it really grow as a hobby right now, I think that you'll feel so much more relief doing that. So I would encourage you to do that at a minimum. Even as you explore doing like all the other things that you might do. I think that you can easily fit a little bit of this in and find out if it energizes you, and I'm guessing that it will. Part of the trick, though, is that you have to not hold yourself to too high a standard. I think that that's something that you can do for yourself that makes it really hard. And then part of the magic of this is in order to be good at it, you got to let go. So it's the conundrum of the, like you want to be good, you want to enjoy it, and you want to let the gift out. And like, you got to worry about not being good in order to do that. Oh gosh. I'll just say on the panel, your energies are much more similar to Christene and Dana. You probably can feel that about yourself. And so the way they have a greater energetic softness than Lisa and Brenda and I all have a grounded practical thing. Not that you two aren't practical, but you two are more emotional and lighter. And there's probably an artistic flavor in the way that you write that I'm guessing comes across. Honoring and giving yourself time to let it come through before you share, or letting it come through in the timing of how it comes through when you work with people, I think makes so much sense. There's no need to try to cram into a short thing. And so you naturally have sessions, like it's not just a one thing and a question, like it really is a session with people because it comes through you over some time and some questions and some deeper sharing and layers. And I think you hold great space for people. So I so encourage you to give yourself an opportunity to do this. And I wouldn't worry about what the modality is. Call it something very general and simply start doing it. And so do it as donation or do it for free at first and do it in different contexts. People that you know in some way that you feel comfortable with and they're comfortable with it, people you don't know, in whatever safe containers, and it's away from the other people that don't get it and don't support it. And I think that you'll really answer your own question if you give yourself some opportunity for this. And the big thing though is not having to let go of getting it right and doing it so well. I think that's the big thing. And so if you can think of just something else in your life that you've done where you haven't worried about getting it quite right, like probably taking a shower, you don't worry about it being perfect. And you think about early in your life, right? When you used to take a bath as a kid, you weren't worried about it being perfect. Find something where you just didn't worry about it being perfect and give yourself an analogy. So yeah, I'm biased. I think you should, and I think you should too. I think it would be good for you too. And you can check that out. Thanks, everyone. All right, so now we've got Dana and Christene and Joshua. If you want to ask a question of the panel, that's great. Let me know in chat. Otherwise, please, if you could hold whatever's coming through you to see about giving it to A by private chat later after we've answered A's questions. All right. Yeah, so Christene.
Did you originally you said Dana first and then Christene?
Oh, sorry. I think Dana's first. Yeah. I maybe put your hand down or I just lost it. Go ahead, Dana.
Hi, A. Thank you for your question. And so as you know, I'm going to go inside and just to tune in and connect. And so the image that I was getting as you were speaking is a younger version of yourself, like a little girl reaching out her hand. And there's this place that she wants to go to. She's like really called. There's this, it looks like a lake or something. And there's like this feeling of, oh, I'm really drawn there. And then the messaging around her of, don't go without me. It's not safe. Wait for me is what I'm getting. And so it's like the feeling of needing to wait until the person who's taking care of you or dad, there's a male presence there, takes your hand and goes with you. And then it's kind of at his pace, on his terms, you go and you see, and there's this like wanting to go explore further, but like a holding you back. And so what this image and essence is coming through is kind of piggybacking a little bit off of what Laureli was saying of, don't get yourself caught up in needing it to be perfect or needing the permission from an external source to say, okay, now it's time to do this. Now it's safe to do this. You get to be the one who takes your hand and says, oh, there's something calling me. I'm stoked. I'm going to go maybe just like dip my toe in. And so you don't have to do like a full plunge, deep dive in and no turning back and let go of everything and do this new thing. It seems like some of those kind of black and white or extremes maybe gets you a little bit hung up. But it's like, let your curiosity and let the things that are a natural interest just gravitate towards you or bring you towards them, and that it's really okay to be messy in this kind of trial and error. And it's also, again, I'm seeing like this, is it this or is it that? And you mentioned higher education. You said in the messages that you're looking for just shifting out of the career that you're in, and so you're looking at higher education, or is it this healing arts kind of practice? And again, there doesn't have to be one road and then that's totally just like what you're going to be doing. There is a, I'm going to slow down and take a breath because I want to have this just be like a gentle sense for you that there's not a rush in this, and you get to explore and you get to experience through your adult lens and through your connection to self that, oh, I am these things here. I am intuitive. I am able to coach people through things. And I have this interest in this over here. And can I blend? Can I bring more of myself to what I'm seeking? And so I'm just going to pause for a moment and see if there's anything else that I was getting as you were talking. So yeah, majorly, it's just that part of you letting yourself kind of step forward. And if you can make it a little lighter, like a little bit like, ooh, I get to go to the candy store and try out things, or I get to, go to that lake that I was called to, and now I'm, an adult and I know how to take care of myself and I can jump in if I want, or I can just dip my toe in. It's like making it a little bit more of a lightness for you will really help to get the energy moving. And of course, there's a whole path to building your business, right? And so when you start to get clear on that calling in you, then putting it out to the universe and reaching out to coaches and getting more of a clear plan of how to enact that. But for you right now, it's really important. What I'm picking up on is just trying, taste testing, sampling, giving things a go. And like Laureli said, whether it just remains a hobby or something that you turn into a business, that will be shown the more that you give it energy.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Dana.
Yeah.
Go ahead, A.
I want to piggyback on what Laureli and Dana said. I had two things come through as you were speaking, A. And one is just the need to play and allow this to just be like a childlike playfulness. Dana was using the word explore, and I think that that's a beautiful word for where you are in this process right now. I don't get the sense that you have like a strong calling at this point, and through play and experiential opportunities, I feel like you're going to get the clarity that you need through play. And the other phrase that came through was focus on how to be, not how to do. Focus on how to be, not how to do. So those were the two main things that came through for me as you were speaking.
Maybe I'm just going to invite you. Did you want to say a little bit more? Focus on how to be. Maybe say a little bit more about what I just invite you, the being that you sense maybe isn't in alignment, or in what ways you think A might open more.
I feel like it's right now, like it's not the doing, like it's, I'm not getting the sense that it's the let's go achieve. It's not the like go get a modality or go get an education. It doesn't, the sense that I get right now is to just be in it, right? Just kind of play with it and experience it and just be, and not like try to go pursue at this time. Does that make sense, Laureli?
Okay, yeah, I think so. Okay, great. Great, all right. And Brenda, go ahead.
Gosh, I love what everybody was sharing, and I wrote a couple things down. And I think the being part is really, Christine, I think that's a really essential part to this, is that to step into ownership. And one of the things I wrote down is create an assets list, i.e., what things do you bring to your life that you've shared with others that have helped them, that has put that had in using your assets, it's been a service to other people. And when we come from that place of increase in service, it's not about us, it's never about us. And I think that's what you have to step away from, is that you were born with these abilities. And it sounds like Lorelei knows you, that you have these coaching things. So it's like looking for a particular color that you want to add to a painting. And so you use different colors to create a new color. And so you can drip into your present life aspects of this intuitive nature of yours that serves in any conversation. And so I don't have to set it aside as something you are doing, but some way in which you are showing up in service to the quality of how you want to relate to everybody and anybody. And the more you do that, the more you practice that beingness that Christine is talking about, that I totally agree with, then the more you look at what you bring to the table that will create increase for others, the more you play with that, have fun with that, have off the wall conversations about that, practice just simply being in the conversation and being present in the conversation with somebody, letting your intuitive guidance actually come forth without any attachments. You cannot be attached. You cannot be attached. What Creator wants to breathe through you is a gift to the person in whom you're meant to serve. And as a healer myself, I had to step out of my own way, and I still have to step out of my own way, because it's not about me. It's about what Spirit wants to breathe through me, because I was given these assets or these gifts or these potentials that when I'm working with them for this in service of somebody else, it's not work and it's not a thing. It's the beingness of really showing up for that person in a way that they can hear you, because you're speaking from your intuitive connection with what their heart's calling out from you for them. And it's not about choosing to go down this path or that path, because that's 2-bit thinking. The universe is full of absolutely huge opportunities and possibilities for you to bring this in every conversation, whether it's with the grocery worker or whether it's with your boss. So bring this gift you have forward without attaching it to any have to's or I'm supposed to's or I'm meant to go in this direction. It's not about that. It's about you being, and I appreciate that little tweak I got from you, Christine, there. It's about you really being of service through how you use your purpose on this earth at this time. And it'll take all kinds of forms, but play, practice, have fun, and just make your intentions be a service to that, to whoever it is you're talking to. So have fun with this gift you've been given.
Thanks so much, Brenda. Practitioners, anything else you want to share with A before we finish up? Sometimes we have more bubble up hearing each other. Right, A, is there anything you want to share in response? Totally optional. Yeah, I said thanks, everyone. All right. Yeah, great. We have another practice circle coming up. If people want to get practice, if you want to get practice A, it is Friday, July 14. I'll put it in the chat. Yeah. All right, great. All right, and we've got, and so thank you so much, A. Thanks for jumping in and letting us support you. I hope you feel supported by our comments. All right, so we've got Joshua up with a question too. Joshua, do you want to come up here on the spotlight?
Do you need to see me?
We don't have to. It's totally up to you. You can just simply speak.
Okay. I don't want to blind anybody with all this sunshine I got over here.
Whatever you want. It's all great.
Okay. I'm so great. First of all, I'm so grateful for the panel. I've been sitting here and I've just been basically listening with my Claire. And I have to say that I have went through a past life regression sitting right here in this chair, listening to the panel, and I'm gonna tell you why. I know in my heart of hearts that I have a number of gifts, and I probably have gifts that I have not even uncovered. But in a past life, I was stripped because I was a female and I was a high priestess. So all these gifts were stripped away. So fast forwarding to 2023, here I am collecting all those gifts one by one through all of my experiences. In my experiences, I'm extracting these gifts. So the last gift came in last night as I was minding my own business, as I always do. And I have already went through the training for it. I've already been certified for it. And it is mediumship. That was the gift that brought it home. So here I am now. I'm looking for, not only, I'm looking for a confirmation as well as affirmation. Thank you for letting me share.
That's great. You also have gifts of storytelling, and yeah, it's great. All right, practitioners. And maybe I'll what do you mean you're certified? You're certified in that you actually took a training for it in this life, or you've just had so many
Yes.
experiences already, you know, you're okay, both. Okay, great.
Yes, both.
And you had people coming to you or connecting with you before you took the training, right?
Absolutely. Ever since a child.
And did it was there someone else sharing with you last night?
Yeah, my higher self.
Great. Yeah, it's great what you're saying too about having a past life regression sitting here. Yeah, just all the different things people were doing and asking my and answering my question. I was feeling aspects of that too. All right, Christene is ready. Go ahead, Christene.
Yeah, I sensed a lot of passion, a lot of energy, like a forward moving energy. Like there's some strong push forward coming from behind you, some major support from spirit. And the question that I have for you is, how can you move forward and make progress in this moment? Because I feel like there's been a turning point for you and you're ready to step forward.
That's it. Well, the place is already set. One thing that I have moved out of is being, I've been independent for so long, and I'm just been in solitude and this and that. Nevertheless, I'm going out, but now I'm in a place in my life where I'm moving into interdependence, and it's no longer about being independent. It has to be, it's a win-win situation. I give you this, I make this. It's like a win-win situation. For an example, the church that I go to, they have the space set up for me. They have everything that I need to thrive in what I want to do. What is sweet about that is that they get a portion, I get a portion. everyone walks away happy. And I'm grateful for that opportunity. So yes, that's one thing I wanted to hear, is that, hey, you're ready, step into it. So I'm going to marry my higher self come Thursday. Looking forward to it.
That's wonderful.
All right, great. Who else is ready to share with Yeshua?
Well, I have a question, if that's okay to ask. And is your name pronounced Yashua?
It's Yeshua, but
Yeshua.
everyone calls.
Thank you
Yeah.
for that, Yeshua.
Yeshua.
Is there currently anything that you're feeling blocked by, or something that's feeling like sticky for you?
Well, based on the last conversation I had sometime last week, is I'm afraid of, I have been afraid of my own success, because I know once I step into that power, once I step into that groove, I'm not trying to say, oh, I'm big, big, big. I'm just saying, I know what I know, and I can feel it. It's bigger than I. It's way bigger than I. And yes, that's what has been my block. Being afraid of that success. It's a wave. It's like it's a tidal wave. It's going to come in and it's going to take me.
Yeshua, what is the downside of success?
Getting caught up in the fame and the glory of it. Getting caught up in the fame, the glory of it. Chasing the currency of it. Getting lost in all of that. Becoming addicted to the compliments. And I have to say that I'm confident within myself to know that I can remain independent from the opinions of others, whether it be good or bad. Just remain still and in the middle way of that.
Go ahead, Dana.
Yeah, so something that's coming to me as you're talking is the word's not coming, the medicine, I guess you could call it, to this fear of being like the tidal wave coming through, and then maybe like head tripping a little bit. The antidote, that's the word I was looking for. The antidote to this for you is to really focus on the healing that you're bringing for others. And when you let yourself be moved by the experience of the folks that you're working with, it will keep you in a place of humility and awe. And so it becomes less about myself, this channel, and about, wow, what wisdom and healing, beauty and potency can happen for these people. And, it kind of like flips the script. So that's what I'm getting for you as far as that particular, potential pitfall, so to speak, is to really keep it focused on the healing for the other that's happening.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And I'm just going to jump in briefly, Lisa, before you go. Yeshua, I don't know if you have a dog. You've had a dog. Do you?
I'm thinking about a dog because I keep attracting dogs.
Well, so I'm seeing a dog, and it's not necessarily that you get one. So it can just be an energetic dog. There's an energetic dog that seems to be about medium in size, and it's with you, and it's big enough that it, without, like, you're sitting down on the ground somehow, and it playfully jumps on you and just starts licking your face and won't stop, and you just start laughing and laughing. And so if you ever start to get caught up in your ego, this dog is just going to jump on you and lick you until you laugh and you lighten and you unstiffen from what's going on. And so I feel like you have energetic support to not have this happen.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Lisa.
Good evening, Yeshua. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Greetings.
So, congratulations. I'm in awe of your incredible power. That's fantastic. What I got for you was to breathe into your power, because you talked about how you're afraid of success and afraid of the fame, glory, currency, and addicted to compliments. And I want to talk about that in a minute. But we talked earlier about just being. But in many cases, there's the next step, right? It's the be, but then breathe into it. And what I saw around you was this big white orb, your sphere. And that's yours. That is absolutely yours. Nobody can enter it without your permission. And I love that for you. But my question to you, when you talked about being addicted to compliments, what came up was, were you not complimented very often as a child?
I was not.
Okay. So I'm sorry to hear that, because I can feel that. And I think Spirit really wants you to know that it is okay to hear and feel those compliments. Feel them, because they're yours.
Thank you. Thank you.
They're saying that parent that didn't want to compliment you, that parent that wouldn't do it themselves and wouldn't let anyone else do it, their story, and it's their story, not your story, their story, that it would cause problems, their story that your head would swell. That was their story, their stuff. It's not yours.
Thank you. Okay, Brenda, it's your turn.
Baby, I'm coming for you here. I know who you are. I believe the power of you is coming forth at this time because you are so needed to be an example of people who can stand in the integrity of their gifts while staying grounded in the process of what it is that's coming through you. It's not about you. It's not about what you bring, but yet you bring to those people a gift that they need to hear. So what I wrote down is, what do you have as a grounding practice? What do you have as a way to do radical self-care while on this journey of expanding yourself and your energy, but staying in the integrity of that expansion so that you can do your best work from a place of integrity about what the gift actually is?
My grounding tools right now is more about meditation, contemplation, and prayer. When I'm in a crowd, and I don't necessarily have to be doing anything, just my presence in the crowd, I just get so boggled down. So I come home and I decompress.
Yeah.
I decompress through meditation, contemplation, and prayer. And then maybe I may eat a heavy meal, a steak. I take myself to the movies. I do a lot of bird watching. I work out in the gym quite a bit. So, yeah,
all those practices are really going to help you stay in the present moment. The other thing that I keep getting told is that you need a couple of reliable people who will help you in the mirroring of that integrity, that balance, that opportunity, that there are people that you can trust, who you can call upon, who can help take you out of a crowd if the energy's getting too big, or can help bring you back into your focus center should something kind of take you off your center. You need to have some people who believe in you, who you trust, and who you can work with to help you set the container. Like if you're looking at like somebody like Esther Hicks in Abraham channeling, people follow her from all over the world. She had to set a container that allowed her to be doing this big work, but she could take care of herself in the best possible way while bringing that energy to the world. So that would be my request to you, my invitation to you is, as you expand this energy, that you also really keep those practices well established and find a support system that's going to protect you from a lot of things that may or may not happen. So you don't want to call that in, but you do want to be able to handle stuff as it's happening so that you can stay focused on what your real purpose is, which is to serve a larger purpose on the planet.
Thank you for that. I have been working, I think her name is Heller. Her last name is Heller. Pooh Heller. But anyway, she talks about attachments. She talks about attachment styles. And what I have been doing in regards to attachments, I've been attaching myself to others based on the paradigm that my mother gave me or my grandmother gave me. And it never worked. It never worked because it was never secured. That attachment was never secured. So now moving forward, that's the only thing that I'm accepting into my life is that secure attachment. And if I can't have that with a person, then I just walk away, and it's okay if I walk away. But I understand completely what you're saying, Brenda, and it has a lot to do with those attachments. Thank you.
Yeah, sending you blessings and sending you lots of love to do radical self-care in the process of being a human channeling such high energy.
Great. And you feel like you have a big extroverted energy, and I imagine that you can connect with lots of people in this plane and lots of beings that are in various states and various places. So I think you have the capacity to be with a lot, and I think you know this. So a reminder that you can set your own filters and choose how much comes in at once. If it starts to feel like too much, you can slow things down.
Thank you.
All right, great. Anything else for Yeshua? Great. Thank you so much for jumping in and letting us answer a question for you. All right. Anyone else have a question for the panel? It can be related to you stepping forward in your gifts, a very specific business you have, and a practical question, and opening to receive more for yourself. It can be related to anything, right? Is intuitive work a good direction to go for you? All kinds of things. It could be a business that has nothing to do with intuition specifically. This is just part of your life and you want our insight for whatever's happening in your business. We have lots of different experiences. All right. Yeah, and practitioners on the panel, if one of you has a question, we can go to that. And we also can finish a little bit early today. I'm open.
Well, in the spirit of being vulnerable, I could ask a question, and I'm also okay if we want to just end early or if anyone else wants to ask something.
I'm happy to have you ask.
Okay, great. Yeah. I mean, I'm amongst some really wise and experienced people here, so this is a gift. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know if I have a specific question, but basically my business right now, I'm really wanting to shift from this kind of paradigm I've created around the one-off session and an intuitive reading into how I can expand that to provide more continued deep work with people and create a consistency both for others and for myself and my business. And it's a big kind of shift out of what I've been used to, and how to frame it in a way that retreat. That's fun. How to frame it in a way that just empowers me to feel like I can confidently support people along that longer journey. So that's a little nugget, and then I can answer questions, or if you have any questions.
Are you you specifically want people to come back multiple times, or you want to like see like more of a longer trajectory and like set that up from the beginning with them? Are you say a little bit more about what's not happening or what you're wanting to do?
Yeah, it's having a framework to hold space for a longer period of time for folks, so that I am seeing people more frequently. Or not frequently per se, but more consistently. So instead of just one person feeling like, okay, I'm ready for a session with Dana, it's been 8 months or something, and I'm gonna tune back in, or another person who's interested in my work books the reading. I'm really wanting to kind of reframe. I have a program that I recently am putting out there called Pathway to Self, and I'm wanting to just put more energy into a framework that has that continued work with people. Did I answer your question, Laureli?
Yeah, I think so. So one thing I do, and I'd imagine doing in different sizes for you, one thing I do is that I have a price per hour, and then if you do five or more sessions, the price per hour is lower, and then 10 or more sessions, the price per hour is even lower. So I wonder about finding some way that you can price things that are, I don't know how you have to play with your prices. I don't know quite what they are, but like, so that if people bought even just like 3 sessions or 6 sessions, that the price is different, and have them expire by a certain time so that they feel motivated to use them soon.
Yeah, can I speak to that, or should I wait?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
So I do have packages where if you purchase like 3 or 5 or 10, then it does lower the rate. And I'm wanting to, so then there's like this program piece where there's actually a lot of added value in there that's not just the hour session that I have with someone, but like the holding container for them the whole way through. And so for me, that actually feels like it's harder for me to do, but I feel like that is worth more money, because it's an arch, it's an experience, it's a transformation for someone. So part of it is confidence, right? And
And do you do channeled messages that you send people separately from the sessions? Is that are you already doing? Because is there energy work that you're doing along the side that's not directly with them? Are there other things that you're sending them? Like, are you already doing some of those things, or?
Well, if it's through this program, it's a combination of intuitive readings and coaching and energy work, healing, and check-ins along the way. And so we kind of set up, the idea is to set up kind of a customized way of how people want to be supported.
So do you feeling, so it sounds like it's you really feeling confident that you can hold this for people and for several people or enough people, like is what you're wanting to bring, hold this enough. So that you stand for the value that you're bringing, like you deliver this, and that you energetically can do it.
Yeah, energetically, I feel like I absolutely can do it. It's like it's the value piece, the confidence, which I'm very close to being there. And then there's the part about, if I have someone who just wants one session with me, or can't, isn't able to invest in the whole package. Like I'm like, my question is like, how much to really like put all my, what's the word? Like really put my trust in like, this is the framework that I work with, you know, and my belief is that working through a number of series, or I'm sorry, a series of sessions is really what's going to create the bigger impact. Or do I just say, okay, well, for you, I will do one session, or I still keep doing single sessions, but then it gets mixed, like my messaging is mixed.
Mhm.
So I'm not quite sure if like I'm ready to make that shift, or it's just about putting it out there and seeing what happens.
It's great, and right, there's some fears that are here for you if you were to make that, if you were to do that, and what, yeah, and I'd say that I'm, oh goodness, one of the gifts of one of your talents, the inspiration talent, is seeing what's possible and being a stand for what's possible. And one of the challenges with this talent is they can get so fixated on the stand for what it is that it's too narrow and too tight and doesn't flow with the journey of what's here. So for me, the bigger thing is to find a way that you can persuasively say, you know, that this other thing would be deeper and better. And if what they're ready for right now is to do one, you're here to do one with them. And you know that will also be good. So it's for you to really be able to say and speak to this and hold that and not be like shaming at all, and being able to meet them where they are and do it in a way that you're leading them into stepping into the bigger thing.
I like that. Yeah.
Right. Lisa.
So I was writing down packages and I'm scribbling it out going, okay, you got the packages part taken care of. So my another intuitive hit that I picked up though was, and you mentioned you tiptoed around it just a little bit, and that's about your messaging. And what I intuited is to redirect your messaging to reach a different audience. Because what happens to many of us in business is we're too busy. We've created this package that we know is going to be beneficial. It's going to add a ton of value to our customers and our clients. And we articulate it, but they still don't hear it. And then when they finally do hear it, then you realize that there's a disconnect between pricing and value and worth and all of that, right? And then suddenly you get all that dialed in, you get all that nailed in, and they say no. After all that, they say no. So that was a really good exercise, but then it's like, okay, well, that was object lesson number one. Let's take it to step two. Let's redial that message a little bit to reach a different audience, but make sure that you're using the words and the language and the lingo that they're using so that you're not doing that over again. That object lesson, that exercise is now just refinement. Does that make sense?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, and I would say, though, to make sure that I'm curious about that part, make sure I'm using the lingo of this audience, because it feels like if I use the lingo that comes naturally for me, like what feels most in alignment, then that will match the audience that I'm looking for, right?
Right. No, and it can and it will, but at the same time, you can dig a little bit deeper and get into who they are from just a personality standpoint. So if you understand they love cats, if you understand they like Marvel comics, and I know this is superficial, but if you take some of the, let's say you create a glossary of all Marvel characters, and you create a glossary of all cats, right? All the characteristics and attributes. You take one of those attributes, you pop it into your messaging, right? Pop it into an email or so forth. Or you share about something like I shared earlier about the point standing in the Hermes shop and sharing about, am I ready for receiving abundance? When you share snippets of that and you curate the messaging that also then includes a little bit of personality, it's really going to start to resonate. So if you're going after women who are in business, who work, who are C-suite level women, careerists, right? You would use a different language than you would use for somebody who is, we'll call a baby witch who's in her 20s, right? The language is going to be different. The way you reach them is going to be different.
Mhm. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So that way, go with what you're comfortable with. And when you refine that messaging, you're going to find the right audience that resonates and is attracted to that messaging. So that way the struggle, and it's not, you're not efforting anymore.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, thank you, Lisa.
You bet.
Thanks, Lisa. We've got Christine and then Brenda.
So, what's coming up for me is that it feels like to me you are ready to have a program and not just packages, not just sessions, but like in using your words, you create a transformation. And in that shift, one of the things that Lisa brought up is really identifying and knowing who your right fit client is, who your target person, your target audience, your perfect person, whatever you want to call it, ideal client. My preference is right fit client, because you want to find the person that you are a right fit for and who is a right fit for you. And regarding messaging, there's really two things you need to get super clear on. And one is the challenges, pain points, any like the negative side, their pain points, their challenges, their fears, their worries, their doubts, like all of the emotional components, as well as like what's going on in their circumstances. So both an internal and an external. Does that make sense? And then the other bucket that you need to get really super clear on is, what are their desires? What's the outcome that they're looking for? And that you can provide. And to really get clarity around where in this process the person is. Where are they right now when they come to see you? And what happens as you work with them? What is that transformation? Who do they become on the other side of working with you? Because you're going to need to know that story arc, that arch that you talked about, in order to be able to speak their language and call in the right people that are looking for a transformation, and not just a, one time, like, I don't even know what word to use, like novelty session, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So my question to you is, who is your right fit client?
Mm-hmm. That's a great question. Yeah, that's something that I've been like, it's a weird, like, kind of fog still with that. And I feel like that the right fit, or I guess what comes to me is like the aligned client, is someone who has done probably a lot of work on themselves, and they're looking for like that just connection to self, and kind of next level stepping into this version of their self that's kind of flowering up, or about to come forth. And I don't know how specific to get, it's like lots of my clients tend to be women, middle-aged women with kids. And that's just something that has kind of happened. And so I'm like, well, is that my ideal client? Is that just, who I'm attracting right now? It seems to flow really well with lots of those types of clients. So yeah, I guess I do have work around getting really clear on refining.
Who that is for you. And when you're doing that work, I just encourage you to go back and look at the people that brought you the most joy to work with.
Mm-hmm.
Just go back and look at the people that brought you the most immense joy, when you're like, oh my gosh, working with that person just lit me up every single time we met. Like, every conversation was amazing. I left higher vibration when I left higher vibration when I left than I was when I got there. She left higher vibration when she left than she was when she got there. the problems that she has light me up, which is sort of like, I don't know, masochistic or something, but it's the truth. Like, somebody comes to us with a certain set of problems and we get lit up by their problems. And so, like, what were the problems that they had when they came to you? External and internal, so circumstantial and emotional, that you were like, oh, I can help with that, you know? And so getting clarity around all of those components of who that person really is, what the challenges were that she came to you with, just what lit you up, because that's going to be who your right fit client is.
Mhm. Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Christine. Brenda.
Mhm.
You're a badass. I love that. So my cold is taking over me a little bit. So a couple of things. One is one of the things I like to do is client interviews. And that's where I get the language for my marketing, because I don't know what the fuck they're thinking. So I ask them what they're thinking. What did they come to me for? And what did they leave with? And then I use that as part of the leverage for whatever I'm working with. I wrote down 3 words for you. What's your intention? What's the decision you're willing to make? And what's your commitment to that decision? Because until you're willing to commit to the pricing that works for you and the quality of life you really want to live, this is where this lands, right? It's not the packaging, it's not how many, it's what's the quality of life I really want to live. And so how can I live that with this type of, I like the right fit client. I love that. I'm going to steal that, Christine. Thank you. So what if I'm working with the right fit client, how many of those do I need in order to secure what feels right in terms of how I use my time, or the quality of experience is, because I want to walk away from every client feeling uplifted and that they feel uplifted by me. And so that is the intention I'm going to set. The decision is that I'm going to get paid what I'm worth for the time I'm spending and all of the investment I've made. And the commitment I'm going to make is to keep being in the evolution of my expansion by way of how I serve my clients. And so the more you sit in the pocket of choosing to make this decision to stand for yourself and the quality of life you want, the more those people are going to be attracted to you. Energetically, the frequency will start to line up and the pay will come in, and it'll be so easy because you will have represented your value and the depth of the they're coming from this pain, and you're going to walk them through to this result, and you're going to have that really dialed in when you do your strategy session with them. And I would say no more one-offs, because that's your killer, baby. You can use it as a strategy session to enhance where you're going to take them. And that's your objective is to, how can I be as high a service to my clients? And the highest service I can bring is a minimum of 6 sessions or 3 months of work or whatever. Not my job to tell you what that is. But when you make the decision to sit on that, you watch how that changes who shows up for you. That's where things are going to shift.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, all of the shares are really resonating.
I'd like
Great.
to
Yeah.
piggyback on what Brenda was saying. And she talked a little bit about interviews, and that is absolutely a brilliant idea. It's something that I recommend my clients do. It's something I've done in the past and has been a game changer for me. One of the lessons I learned from doing that, though, that I want to share a little caveat with, is because I've done those interviews, which you can call right fit client interviews, or you can call it market research interviews. But what it is you're trying to get their words. Like Lisa was saying, you need to be able to speak in the ways that they speak. And just like she was saying, if you have a comic book person versus a cat person, they're going to speak differently. And so, but along those lines, the lesson that I learned was, the first time I did right fit client interviews, I literally interviewed my current clients or people I had worked with in the past to find out, the information I was seeking. And that was good, but it wasn't great. And the reason why it wasn't great was because I had already gotten them the transformation. They were no longer in the pain still. And so in some ways, they were giving me like a hindsight's 2020 perspective, a retrospective look back at where they were. And the languaging that they used was not the same as somebody who was in that place at the moment. And so the next time I did market research, I went on Facebook in a group that I knew my right fit people were in. And I said, I'm creating a program on this topic. And I'm looking for people to give feedback and input so that I can make it the best program it can be. And these are the challenges that I'm looking for people facing with, blah, blah, blah. And, if you would be willing to have a 30-minute interview with me, I would really appreciate your feedback. And so I got like 5 people, like really fast to respond to that, scheduled some appointments, and I had calls with them. Those words, like I said, were so different than the words that they used on the other side of that transformation after having already worked with me. And so it was so much more beneficial for me to get the information from people who were in the place that I want to take them from, not the place that I already took them to.
Mhm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The place that you took them to would be great for the testimonials. Like, here I am
That's
now. there I was
exactly
before.
right. You're exactly right. They were fantastic for testimonials, but
That's
not for
great.
the marketing language.
Yeah, I was thinking too, the people that have already worked with you know more of your language, so your language would be coming back at you too, more than fresh people.
True.
All right, Elisa's got something else also.
Yeah, I just want to piggyback off what Christine was saying, as well as Brenda. It's all coming full circle. And that is, when you are learning that language, you can also put a survey on your website and invite people to that survey. And you can create the questions and just, like radio buttons, right? Where they just click, click, click. And it only takes them 60 seconds to fill it out because nobody likes a survey. Let's be honest. But if maybe you can promise them some kind of outcome, like, a free 10-minute session clarity call, whatever that is. But based on that survey, when you create radio buttons through those questions and answers, you can also create a couple of fields and invite them to share anything more that they're concerned with, what their challenges are, what they're hung up on, what that circumstance is, because then that's going to help inform you even more. So that will be a supplement to what Christine had suggested as well. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, and it does bring up a question though. But first I need to be clear with what is my right fit client, right? Because if I'm just doing that survey to everyone, I'm going to get a whole spectrum of problems and issues.
Right.
So how do I hone that?
So great question. For 1 year, and Brenda, you're hilarious because you brought up earlier in this session about, life is no accident. Our experiences are no accident. Our jobs are no accident. And I spent 1 year at a research company working for McDonald's and Revlon and creating questionnaires and really honing that in. And so basically you're qualifying your customer. And so you qualify it by saying, are you, this X age, or are you a C-suite careerist, or are you any of these? Because that's really what you want to figure out is, where are they in life? Where do they think their challenges are? And where's that circumstances occurring? That way you can start qualifying and then eliminating them immediately, even if they do decide, okay, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and fill out the 60-second questionnaire. You can decide as you're reviewing it going, oh, not my client, not my client. Oh, here's 2. These are a little bit closer to who I want to reach. And then you can actually reach out to them and host some of those qualifying discovery calls that Christine was talking about. But yeah, it is all about qualifying with each question and getting from broad to specific.
Just a quick comment before Brenda goes. If you ever are doing Facebook ads, it's crazy. You can send ads to people that work in certain fields and that make certain amounts of money, and they know all this about us. It's crazy. All right, Brenda.
I'm just going to reiterate what Lisa said, but I'll come a slightly different tweak about it. It's when you sit with that sense of like, when you think of a client that you really loved and you look at that, you can put together an actual list of questions that you would have liked to have known from them before you've even started the work. And that might be a place to start this piece, as that recognizing that you're interviewing them as your potential client and that you're putting them through their paces of seeing how dedicated they are to the work that they want to do and the work that you want to do with them, right? So this is a great time to actually pre-qualify them by the types of questions and their willingness to actually sit in answering those questions so that you can better serve them. And that's going to give you a lot of insights into kind of the pain points, but also, depending on your questions, also kind of the results they're seeking. And it's going to give you a lot of ways in which you formulate your package and formulate your work that's going to help you be in easier flow around how you show up for your clients, because you're going to have them already having built a relationship with you through that questionnaire, so that you can really take them deeper really fast. It's going to change the whole projectile of your work. So have fun with it, for one. Enjoy the kinds of questions you want to ask. Like I often ask questions like, because I do quick connect pitching, one of the questions I ask them, if you were, if your business was a superpower, who would it be? Right? So kinds of questions that take them out of the box thinking, but shows you kind of how they think. And you want some of that. And, I don't know about this, but Google is my friend. And so sometimes you can actually Google for a list of questions that people might have already positioned to have asked, and kind of draw out of a couple of different documents things that you would kind of go, boy, I'd really like to know that answer to that question, in terms of how I can really work with my what is it wait a minute, my right fit client. That's a new language. I got to get there from here. So anyway, I you got this. And I think if you stand in the decision of this, you're going to watch things turn really fast for you.
I want to say, and I don't know if one of you already said this too. I was just starting to think about like who have been my best clients over the years and what are the themes of them? Like what are all the things that they've had in common? So even if they're not the same, but there's a theme of that topic. So that's giving me an idea of who that right fit client is for me.
And to piggyback off of that, it's so important who you do not want to work with, as it is who you want to work with. Boy, I figured that out, PDQ.
Christene, go ahead.
Dana, do you do any consultations before you do the work that you do?
I do, yeah.
Do you take notes about the questions? Like, do you have it documented anywhere?
It depends. If it's like a consult for the program, then I usually take notes. Yeah. If it's like if they're just asking about a healing session or a reading, then sometimes I don't. Just depends.
So that was one of the places, that was one of my starting points when I was starting to do this work, because I looked back through the consultation forms and started looking for patterns within the challenges that they were having, that they came to me with. And the words that they used and the emotions behind it, all of that stuff, because in my consultation forms, I asked some pretty deep questions. And I was in the practice of trying to, because I did typing on mine, I didn't handwrite them, but I was like mad typing super fast, taking copious notes, trying to like write down verbatim their exact words, not me changing it, not my vernacular, but exactly the phrases that they said. And so I had, because of doing consultations in that way, I had like a repository of things that I could go back to as a starting point. I don't know if that's going to be true for you, but if you do have consultations, even if you did switch and use your own words and you weren't verbatim writing down their words, although that should be the practice going forward. Even if you didn't, at least you might be able to start extrapolating some patterns of things that you saw with the people that you most enjoyed working with.
Cool, that's great. I have a consult tomorrow, so notes taken.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I record and give clients copies, and I sometimes go back and listen to things again from them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do that in session. Yeah. But the consult, I didn't think about doing that. Yeah.
anything else for Dana? Great, Dana. Great question. Thanks so much for jumping in and letting us support you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Let me get the information on all the practitioners in the chat again. Practitioners, we're going to go through and have you share again about who you are and what you do, and especially list how people can connect with you. So those watching the video later can choose to connect with you online. And feel free to list your special today, and everyone here today, this information, all the specials and the links are in the chat. I'm also going to put in information on upcoming events, and then also if you'd like to enter a drawing to be in a free session with one of us of your choice, I'm going to put that in the chat in a moment too. I had it in there earlier, those of you that may have caught it earlier. Yes, let's just go in the same order. So we'll have Lisa, Dana, Brenda, and Christine. Go ahead, Lisa.
Super. Thank you, Laureli. Hey, Mystics. Again, I am Lisa Stewart of Co-Create Magic. Thanks for joining us on the business panel tonight. As a reminder, I am launching Mystic Maker's business portal, everything that you need to quickly build your personal brand reputation to become the go-to expert. The business portal is for spirited, courageous, creative entrepreneurs who want support building their business, even if they're not tech savvy. So imagine accessing the tools and resources you need to confidently set up your business. It's an action-based, get shit done container that grants you access to on-demand training, templates, tools, life coaching, and more. If this sounds intriguing, sign up today to lock in the founder's price, because I will raise the price when I iron out all the wrinkles. You can find that and more at cocreatemagic.com. Stay magical.
And that's another tip for your business. Charge less in the beginning before you iron out all the wrinkles. There are tips in all of what we do. All right, great. Dana.
Hey y'all, I'm Dana Hersh at danahersh.com, and I'm here to help you access your clarity and inner healer. And you can find me on my website. You can also reach out to me via email. My special here for this event is 30% off on a reading with me, and it's focused around your business. And I also have an upcoming in-person workshop. So if you are in the Portland or Washington area, Columbia Gorge, I'll be in White Salmon on July 2nd in the evening doing a workshop called The Sound of Intuition. And so it's an experiential based 2-hour workshop where we get to try on these different tools and techniques to tap into inner truths and inner intuition, and also accompanied by sound bath. So you can find all of that in my event section, and thanks for being present and bringing your questions and curiosity today.
Thanks, Dana. Brenda.
Thank you, everybody, for the wisdom you all brought to the table. The Me-We Fair is such an amazing opportunity. My name is Brenda Bryan. I'm the diviner of human potential. I'm a speaker's coach, and I facilitate the Badass Warrior Circle Mastermind. It's all in aid of heart-centered entrepreneurs showing up and really increasing what they do by changing the world through how they show up, through their messaging, through who they choose to work with, and the vision they have for themselves. It's all designed to empower you to be confident in really believing in yourself and showing up as somebody who has something to offer the world and recognizes that. And you're always 1 or 2 steps ahead of somebody else. So, whether you got 40 years of training or you've got 2 years of training, you're ahead of somebody. And my job is to help you take that and use it to leverage where you're going next. My offer is I have a vision workshop coming up July 7th. If you'd like to kind of really get into that, passion and desire, and hold a vision for really the quality of life you want to live, then I'll put a code in there for the Me-We Fair. That'll give you $20 off. It's $147, and I'll take $20 off and I'll just put the code in, and the code will just be Me-We. And I'm just going to put it in the Eventbrite thing, and it's all on there. So we'll do that.
Great. Thank you so much, Brenda and Christine.
Yeah, again, my name is Christene Sismondo. My business is Evoluna Healing, and that is spelled EVOLUNA, healing.com. And I don't have a paid offer today. I just have a free offer. I started a new Facebook group. It's called Woo Women Entrepreneurs Collaborative, Live Your Calling, Heal the World. So find me on Facebook. Just look for the group Woo Women Entrepreneurs Collaborative. And my other offering is I am launching a mastermind program called the Womb Collaborative, which is Women of Mission Driven Businesses Collaborative. And it's a 4-month mastermind program. It is a pilot program right now, so it is half off of the price. And the whole purpose is to build and grow your purpose-driven business in community, aligned in calling. So we'll be doing things like getting clarity around your purpose, getting clarity around your unique gifts, getting clarity around your right fit client, getting clarity around your right fit offer, and also how much to charge for that offer, and building an offer that you believe in so that you can charge the value you believe that it's worth. It kicks off July 11th. There's going to be an informational call. So just find me on Facebook, Christene Sismondo, Christene with an E, CHRISTENE, if you're interested in that, or find me through my Facebook group, the Woo Women Entrepreneurs Collaborative.
Great. Thank you. And I'm Laureli Shimayo. I'm an intuitive eye reader, body psychology coach, and matchmaker. I read your eyes, read your soul, and answer questions about your soul, your purpose, your path, your lessons. I love to use this work for matchmaking to help you find a soulmate and all kinds of different things. I'm bringing all my experience to whatever it is you're up to, be that entrepreneurship, other steps in your career path, just whatever it is. You can find out more about me at intuitiveeyereading.com, matchmakingsoulmates.com. I have a book on the 7 talents that I read in people's eyes to help you find your purpose. And if you learn to listen to your body and all the messages of your body, you will find your purpose by taking steps in alignment with what you experience through your antenna of your body. I do a 20-minute complimentary call. You're welcome to schedule that at schedulelaureli.com, schedule, LAURELI.com. And we've got tons more events coming up on MeWe. We have lots of business stuff going on. Lisa and I host a drop-in business coaching and mentoring group on Thursday evening. That's a different Zoom link. You can check that out in the chat, and it's on our MeWe Facebook page. And then we have a practice circle for opening and expanding your gifts, Friday, July 14 in the evening. We have our online fair coming up on Saturday, July 15. We have about 18 practitioners on that. And then we have in-person events coming up in Washington. We're in Anacortes, July 8-9, and then Bellevue, July 29-30, and then we're into Oregon. We'll be in Yahas, Oregon, the beginning of August, and then we'll be back up on the coast in Ocean Shores, Washington, later in August. So thank you so much for being here. More of our events are at mewefairs.com, MEWEFAIRS.com. And I will put again in the chat for those of you that are here to give us feedback on today and get entered into a drawing for a free 30-minute session. Thank you so much for being here with us.